The fifth book of Moses, called Deuteronomy. These are the words which Moses spoke to all Israel on this side of the Jordan in the wilderness, in the plain opposite Suf, between Paran, Tophel, Laban, Hazirath, and Dizahab. It is 11 days' journey from Horeb by way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea. Now it came to pass in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moses spoke to the children of Israel, according to all that the Lord had given him as commandments to them. After he had
finally, after all this time, we're in the promised land, right? We have it divvied up, right? The last chapter, they were divvying up the land, and we were looking at the different territories.
Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, who dwelt at Ashtaroth in Edrei. On this side of the Jordan, in the land of Moab, Moses began to explain this law.
The Lord our God spoke to us in Horeb, saying, "You have dwelt long enough at this mountain. Turn and take your journey, and go to the mountains of the Amorites, to all the neighboring places in the plain, in the mountains and in the lowland, in the south and on the seacoast, to the land of the Canaanites and to Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I have set the land before you."
Okay, so the promised land is quite vast.
Go in and possess the land.
I'm curious, as far as the river Euphrates, right? I don't remember that yesterday when we were looking at the divvied up territories. Oh. Where's Euphrates? Euphrates is nowhere. It should be. Right? Because Euphrates is right over here. The promised land is isolated till right over here. Oh, it goes all the way up. And here's the Euphrates. Right? Because it's set all the way up to the Euphrates. But then the territories were only in this section, right? There's the Dead Sea, right? All the way up until here. East Manasseh, Ammon, Jabbok River. And then let's go back and look at, right? This is Red Sea. The Mediterranean Sea. I'm just trying to get my bearings right here. Okay, this is the Mediterranean Sea. This is the Red Sea. This is the Euphrates, right? This is the Mediterranean Sea, right? The Dead Sea. Where's the Dead Sea would be the Salt Sea. Yeah. Yeah, so they haven't, it looks like God only divvied up the land right over here. Boom. That's it, right? This area right here. And he's saying the promised land is all the way up to the edge of the Euphrates River, right? Like that. But he's only given a small portion of the land to the 12 tribes. Why is that? What's going to happen with the rest of the land?
as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land, which the Lord swore to your fathers.
Or maybe that land that God had divvied up for them, that's their inheritance. That is theirs. And it's going to be passed down from generation to generation, right? And that's going to stay within their tribes. But they are also allowed to go out and explore and live together, right? They don't have to be divided always amongst their tribes, right? That's the ownership of the land, right? Everyone has their own. Manasseh has, right, the Manasseh and Simeon and all the whatever, right? All the 12 tribes. But the rest of the land, they can go fend for themselves, I guess. Right? They have a free-for-all with the land. I mean, I'm sure that other tribes can live in other tribes' territory, much like the Levites are spread throughout all the different tribes, right? That's their inherited. They didn't really get any inheritance, right? Because their inheritance was from God, the offerings, right? All the people had given their offerings, and then they get a portion of that, and that's their inheritance. So the Levites were just given certain space to stay in the cities from the other tribes in their areas. So I'm guessing it'll be that type of situation where everyone can fend for themselves and just explore this land that's not specifically labeled or given to a certain tribe. It's just
To Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them and their descendants after them. Possess the land, which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them and their descendants after them.
It's crazy how it really literally going full circle, right? Abraham was already there. He was already there, and then Joseph got sent off to Egypt, and the rest of the Israelites, went to Egypt. They left the promised land, went to Egypt, got put into slavery, and then had to leave Egypt to come back to where they originally were.
And I spoke to you at that time, saying, I alone am not able to bear you. The Lord your God has multiplied you, and here you are today, as the stars of heaven in multitude. May the Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times more numerous than you are, and bless you as he has promised you. How can I alone bear your problems and your burdens and your complaints? Choose wise, understanding, and knowledgeable men from among your tribes, and I will make them heads over you. And you answered me and said, the thing which you have told us to do.
I feel like Moses has already done this, though, right? Remember way back when all the people's issues were falling onto him, and he was having trouble handling it all. So, right, he divvied up the land, divvied up the people. Like, okay, 1,000 of you answer to this guy, 500 of you answer to this guy, 700 of you answer to that guy, right? And you can handle those problems on a day-to-day basis. The serious problems, send them my way, right? But maybe in this case, this is doing it by tribe. Maybe that wasn't by tribe, right? This is by tribe, right? So, and it's going to be, remember, these tribes are like 40,000, 50,000 people, right? So it's. Okay, that's the answer right there. All right, so you have tribal leaders that are going to represent the entirety of the tribe, right? Okay.
Understanding and knowledgeable men from among your tribes, and I will make them heads over you.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, well, let him
and
say
you
it.
answered me and said, thing which you have told us to do is good. So I took the heads of your tribes, wise and knowledgeable men, and made them heads over you, leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of 50s, leaders of 10s, and officers for your tribes.
Okay, so he's still, sectioning off. It's going to be like, looks like a bureaucratic system going on here, right? A little hierarchy. We have, they're going to be leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of 50s, leaders of 10s, and then officers of even, I guess, smaller sections. Yeah, so I'm guessing the previous leaders that were dealing with the issues, it was not focused based on the tribes, right? It was just probably just, here's a giant pool of people, let's split it up based on where they're living. But I'm guessing they would live with their tribes. So maybe they're just appointing new leaders. I don't know. Let's see if this Bible has to say anything about it. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Deuteronomy 1:15. Agreement with the counsel of the Lord is truly a good thing. A number of men were charged with the administrative, judicial, and military tasks of creating unity among the people. Some of them were also called judges. Okay, yeah, so it didn't do anything. I mean, we're going to talk about the judges thing right now, it looks like in 16.
Then I commanded your judges at that time, saying, hear the cases between your brethren, and judge righteously between a man and his brother.
Okay. Maybe he is talking about the past, and he's saying, look, this was a good idea back then, right? Because he's saying, then I commanded your judges at that time, right? So maybe he is talking about that original time.
Or the stranger who is with him. You shall not show partiality in judgment. You shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid in any man's presence, for the judgment is God's. The case that is too hard for you, bring to me, and I will hear it. And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. So we departed from Horeb and went through all that great and terrible wilderness which you saw on the way to the mountains of the Amorites, as the Lord our God.
Okay, yeah. So he is doing like a little recap, looks like. So this was the time when that previous time in Exodus
Had commanded us. Then we came to Kadesh Barnea. And I said to you, you have come to the mountains of the Amorites, which the Lord our God is giving us. Look, the Lord your God has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as the Lord God of your fathers has spoken to you. Do not fear or be discouraged. And every one of you came near to me and said, let us send men before us and let them search.
Man, I was about to say, like, they refused again. Like, God just divvied up the land for you. You're right there, and then now you're refusing to enter the land. After all this, after all the wandering in the wilderness and refusing it once, and then, like... But he's just recapping of what just happened. All right. Okay, thankfully. Because if they refused again, oh my gosh. At that point, like, God's not gonna take it anymore. He wanted to kill them off multiple times by now, right? Moses is gonna be like, yeah, fine, God, just go ahead. You can give up now.
Search out the land for us and bring back word to us, of the way by which we should go up, and of the cities into which we shall come. The plan pleased me well. So I took 12 of your men, 1 man from each tribe, and they departed and went up into the mountains and came to the valley of Eshcol and spied it out. They also took some of the fruit of the land in their hands and brought it down to us, and they brought back word to us, saying, "It is a good land which the Lord our God is giving us." Nevertheless, you would not go up, but rebelled against the command of the Lord your God. And you complained in your tents and said, "Because the Lord hates us, he has brought us out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us. Where can we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, 'The people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and fortified up to heaven. Moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakim there.'"
Right, that's pointed out specifically, right, because apparently the sons of Anakim were giants, descendants of the Nephilim. And apparently the Nephilim were giants. And apparently these are the descendants of giants. I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole we can jump into and try and figure that out, right? Because they did say they said that the people were greater and taller there, right? The cities are great, fortified up to heaven. Moreover, we have seen the sons of Anakim there, right? So that's separate from the greater and taller, right? Greater and taller could just be people that are taller and greater, But it seems like moreover, we have seen the sons of Anakim there. So that shows that there's something special about this group, special in a bad way, special in a good way, probably a bad way. But yeah, well, I'm curious to find out, are they really like giant? Like how giant? Are they giants or what? Or like, I don't know. We can look into that at a later date.
Then I said to you, "Do not be terrified or afraid of them. The Lord your God, who goes before you, he will fight for you according to all he did for you in Egypt before your eyes, and in the wilderness, where you saw how the Lord your God carried you, as a man carries his son, in all the way that you went until you came to this place. Yet for all that you did not believe the Lord your God, who went in the way before you to search out a place for you to pitch your tents, to show you the way you should go, in the fire by night and in the cloud by day. And the Lord heard the sound of your words and was angry and took an oath, saying, "Surely not one of these men of this evil generation shall see that good land of which I swore to give to your fathers. Except Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him and his children I am giving the land on which he walked."
Man, that means over 600,000 people
followed
died.
the Lord. The Lord was also angry with me
600,000 men
for your sakes,
only fighting age.
saying, "Even you shall not go in there. Joshua the son of Nun, who stands before you, he shall go in there. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it."
Man, Moses must
Moreover,
feel so upset
your
with
little
himself.
ones and your children
After all this, he can't
Who
even
you
inherit.
say
He
will
can't
be
even go into the
victims, who
promised land.
today have no knowledge of good and evil, they shall go in there. To them I will give it, and they shall possess it. But as for you, turn and take your journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. Then you answered and said to me, we have sinned against the Lord. We will go up and fight, just as the Lord our God commanded us. And when every one of you had girded on his weapons of war, you were ready to go up into the mountain. And the Lord said to me, tell them, do not go up, nor fight, for I am not among you, lest you be defeated before your
Moses
enemies.
really giving us a recap right now.
So I spoke to you. Yet you would not listen, but rebelled against the command of the Lord, and presumptuously went up into the mountain, and the Amorites who dwelt in that mountain came out against you and chased you as bees do, and drove you back from Seir to Hormah. Then you returned and wept before the Lord. But the Lord would not listen to your voice nor give ear to you. So you remained in Kadesh many days, according to the days that you spent there. Then we turned and journeyed into the wilderness of the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spoke to me.
Is Moses writing this
And we
down, or is he
skirted
saying
Mount
this?
Seir
I think he
for
said
many
he's saying
days.
this to the people, right?
And the Lord spoke to me,
Yeah,
saying,
he spoke it to all.
You have
all
skirted
of
this
Israel.
mountain long enough. Turn northward and command the people, saying, you are about to pass through the territory of your brethren, the descendants of Esau, who live in Seir, and they will be afraid of you. Therefore watch yourselves carefully. Do not meddle with them, for I will not give you any of their land, no, not so much as one footstep, because I have given Mount Seir to Esau as a possession.
That's cool.
You shall buy food from them with money, that you may eat, and you shall also buy water from them with money, that you may drink. For the Lord your God has blessed you in all the work of your hand.
So God's still looking
He
after
knows
Esau.
you're trudging through this great wilderness. These 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you. You have lacked nothing.
Well, Esau's people.
And when we passed beyond our brethren, the descendants of Esau, who dwelt in Seir, away from the road of the plain, away from Elath and Ezion.
That's crazy to think about then, that not all of the children of Israel were in slavery in Egypt. There were others out there, like Esau and his people, that never went to Egypt and got enslaved or anything like that. That's crazy.
On Jeber. We turned and passed by way of the wilderness of Moab. Then the Lord said to me,
Do not harass Moab, nor contend with them in battle, for I will not give you any of their land as a possession, because I have given Ar to the descendants of Lot as a possession.
The Emim had dwelt there in times past, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. They were also regarded as giants, like
Oh, there
the
we go.
Anakim. But the Moabites called them Emim.
Okay, here we go. This is interesting. The Emim had dwelt there in times past, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. I'm curious to know how tall they are, right? They were also regarded as giants, like the Anakim, but the Moabites called them Emim, right? So, why does it say but the Moabites called them Emim, right? Because it's like they were expecting that they should all be called Anakim. So, are all the tall giants related that you would call them descendants of Anakim? Right? That's why you would make note of the Moabites calling a certain group of the tall giants Emim, right? Why else would you do that? They were also regarded as giants like the Anakim, but the Moabites called them Emim. Or I'm reading way too much into it, right? I could be reading way too into it. And they're two separate groups that are just tall like giants. Let's go read the commentary on this Bible. Let's see if they have anything to say. All right, Deuteronomy 10, 2:10. It has absolutely nothing. It literally skipped this portion right here. Okay. Let's look it up though. Anakim and Emim. Rephaim, Emim, and Anakim. Zamzumim. How many giants are there? Right, because Goliath was 9 feet tall, and that was considered giant, right? The green giant. Well, that might be Fantasyland, Rocky. Right. Okay. Yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk. We're imagining like 30 feet tall giants, but for only Og, king of Bashan, remained the remnant of giants. When I don't remember that. Oh, Deuteronomy 3. We haven't gotten there yet. Spoiler alert. Unfortunately, the exact height of the king is not given, but it does mention that his bedstead, possibly meaning his sarcophagus, was 9 by 4 cubits, 13.5 feet in length, and by 6 feet wide. That's pretty big. Since some sarcophagus are built much larger than the person inside, it is difficult to determine his actual height. Makes sense, right? Because yeah. But we can safely say that Og was somewhere between 7 and 13 feet. Okay. Goliath, right? We know that he's about 9 feet tall. And was Goliath a descendant of the Anakim or something? It's saying here Anakim, right? Or did like some blood from the Anakim go get into the Philistines? Looks like is this a book from somebody? Not much. He's just lightly commenting on it. I want a little bit more details. Rise of the Nephilim. Yeah, it's a paper. The spies, right? We talked about the spies. I'm guessing this is from the Torah, right? Yeah. Found giants in Chevron. You know, this is gonna be a lot. This is gonna be a lot, right? Because I'm not familiar with the Torah at all. So, all right. Let's do another video on the Anakim and the giants and all that stuff. That'll be interesting. All right. All right. Let's keep going for now, and we'll check back with these guys a little bit later.
Giants like the Anakim, but the Moabites called them Emim. The Horites formerly dwelt in Seir, but the descendants of Esau dispossessed them and destroyed them from before them, and dwelt in their place, just as Israel
There we go.
did to the land of their possession, which the Lord gave them. Now rise and cross over the valley of the Zered. So we crossed over the valley of the Zered, and the time we took to come from Kadesh Barnea until we crossed over the valley of the Zered.
Did I say earlier that all the children of Israel were not in Egypt? Because Esau was elsewhere? I didn't. Okay. Right? Because Israel is Jacob. So I meant like descendants of Abraham, right? Like they were, they were still descendants of Abraham, like part of the same family group, religion that were out there. All right.
Was 38 years, until all the generation of the men of war was consumed from the midst of the camp, just as the Lord had sworn to them. For indeed the hand of the Lord was against them, to destroy them from the midst of the camp until they were consumed. So it was, when all the men of war had finally perished from among the people, that the Lord spoke to me, saying, "This day you are to cross over at Ar, the boundary of Moab."
That's crazy. Is that why they were wandering for 40 years, just waiting for these people to die? Wow. Just waiting for them to die and have that whole generation wiped out. Then we're going to the promised land. Wow.
And when you come near the people of Ammon, do not harass them or meddle with them, for I will not give you any of the land of the people of Ammon as a possession, because I have given it to the descendants of Lot as a possession. That was also regarded as a land of giants. Giants
land of
formerly dwelt there, but the Amorites call them Zamzumim, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim. But the Lord destroyed them before them, and they dispossessed them, and dwelt in their place, just as he had done for the descendants of Esau who dwelt in Seir when he destroyed the Horites from before them. They dispossessed them and dwelt in their place even to this day. And the Avim, who dwelt in villages as far as Gaza. The Caphtorim, who came from Captor, destroyed them and dwelt in their place.
People of Ammon. Who are the people of Ammon? Lot, Abraham's nephew, was a progenitor of the Ammonites. Okay, after Abraham and okay. So that's why. All right, because he gave Lot that land, I guess. All right.
Rise, take your journey, and cross over the river Arnon. Look, I have given into your hand Sihon, the Amorite, king of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it and engage him in battle. This day I will begin to put the dread and fear of you upon the nations under the whole heaven, who shall hear the report of you and shall tremble and be in anguish.
Everybody under the whole heaven, literally everybody knew about these guys.
And I sent messengers from the
Well, I mean, they literally tumbled the Egyptian empire just like that. You know what I mean?
wilderness of Kedemoth to Sihon, king of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, "Let me pass through your land. I will keep strictly to the road, and I will turn neither to the right nor to the left. You shall sell me food for money that I may eat, and give me water for money that I may drink.
And he was like, nope.
Only let me pass through on foot, just as the descendants of Esau who dwell in Seir, and the Moabites who dwell in Ar did for me, until I cross the Jordan to the land which the Lord our God is giving us." But Sihon, king of Heshbon, would not let us pass through. For the Lord your God hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into your hand.
But for the Lord your God hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, right? Okay, so this was not mentioned back then when it was actually happening, but it's being mentioned now. That could mean that when God says that he hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, right? It could mean that he's just describing what happened. That his heart was hardened and his spirit was hardened and his heart obstinate, right? And he's just describing what's happening. Because God is responsible for all things, right? God created the world, right? So everything that happens is under him, right? Which means that during the plagues, when Pharaoh's heart was hardened, there is a good possibility that was just describing Pharaoh's heart, not saying that God hardened his heart. It literally did say God hardened Pharaoh's heart. But it might not have meant that God actually, like Pharaoh's heart was not hardened. It was fine. He would let the children of Israel go. And then God came in and intervened and hardened Pharaoh's heart, right? It could just be describing what was going on in Pharaoh, right? In the same way here, right? It could be that as well. Because there was no mention of this before when they were actually asking King Sihon to pass through their land.
As it is this
It just said, he said no, and I think he wanted to fight, right?
day. And the Lord said to me, "See, I have begun to give Sihon and his land over to you. Begin to possess it, that you may inherit his land." Then Sihon and all his people came out against us.
See, or did God harden his heart so that there would be war, so that Israel would win, so that they could inherit the land? I don't know.
To fight at Jahaz. And the Lord our God delivered him over to us. So we defeated him, his sons, and all his people. We took all his cities at that time.
But then if that is the case, why not just go in and wipe them out? Why ask, hey, can we pass through? Then God hardens his heart, and he says no. And so they have a battle. If the end goal was to wipe them out, why not just go wipe them out? So, right, it could just be describing the situation, not God actually intervening and taking action and hardening his heart.
And we utterly destroyed the men, women, and little ones of every city. We left none remaining.
I don't remember that happening. They left none alive? I thought they did. I thought they took the women as slaves. Or was that another place that they had defeated?
We took only the livestock as plunder for ourselves, with the spoils of the cities which we took. From Aroer, which is on the bank of the river Arnon, and from the city that is in the ravine as far as Gilead, there was not one city too strong for us. The Lord our God delivered all to us. Only you did not go near the land of the people of Ammon. Anywhere along the river Jabbok, or to the cities of the mountains, or wherever the Lord our God had forbidden us. For our...
All right, let me just check this out real quick. All right, but that's it for Deuteronomy 2. That's all we're going to be reading for today. I'm just going back and checking, right, if Hillary did kill everybody, because I don't remember that. Let me pull it up on the screen, right, so you guys can see. Numbers 21. Oh. Right, is it Numbers 21? Then Israel. Numbers 21. Right? The defeat of Sihon and Og. Israel sent messengers to say to the... Okay. Right. Okay. Wait, hold up. But Sihon would not let Israel pass through his territory. He mustered his entire army and marched out into the wilderness against Israel. When he reached Jahaz, he fought with Israel. Israel, however, put him to the sword and took over his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, but only as far as the Ammonites, because their border was fortified. Israel captured all the cities of the Amorites and occupied them, including Heshbon and all of its surrounding settlements. Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and had taken from him all his land as far as Arnon. That is why the poet said, he has given up, woe to you, Moab, you are destroyed, people of Chemosh. He has given up his daughters as sons as fugitives and his daughters as captives to Sihon, king of the Amorites. But we have overthrown them. Okay. So Israel settled. So they struck him down, right? Okay, let's go back a little bit. Do not be afraid of him, for I have delivered him into your hands, along with his whole army and his land. Do to him what you did to King Sihon of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon. So they struck him down together with his sons and his whole army, leaving them no survivors, and they took possession of the land. Where was what I read where they took the women with them? Right, Balaam and all that whatnot, right? And they had another census. There was another king that was defeated. No, there wasn't. Death of Aaron. Sihon defeated. So they killed everybody. Where was the part where they took the women? Numbers 31. Vengeance on the Midianites. Okay. So this was when the Midianites and the Moabites had seduced the children of Israel, and God wanted to take vengeance on them. So they took the women in that case and killed the men and all that stuff, right? Okay. So for the King Sihon and King Og, right? If King Og was a giant, was Sihon, the people of Sihon also giants? I don't think so, right? King Sihon. I don't think they mentioned that they were giants, right? Yeah, I don't think they would mention that they were giants or anything, right? But Og was a giant. Types of giants in the Bible. Okay, this will be a cool thing to check out when we do that. King Sihon was a giant. Amorites. Was it under type of giants? Types of giants? The Amorites were types of giants? How do we know that? Okay, so if that's the case, then they were killing off the giants. And that could be because God wanted to wipe them out. Because the giants, remember that theory with the fallen angels and the women crossbreeding? And that's why the flood happened, to wipe them out. So some of them probably survived, and now that's why wipe out everybody, women, children, everybody, right? That's the theory that Rob Skiba had, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. We can go in and look up the giant stuff, and try and figure it out. That's a lot, though. That's gonna be a lot. So, but let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section. We're finally in Deuteronomy. We're gonna jump into Deuteronomy chapter 3, right? Holy, what the cat's happening? Yeah, Deuteronomy 3, right? We just talked about Sihon being defeated and the desert years of wandering the wilderness. Tomorrow we're going to be recapping the defeat of King Og. And we'll continue from there. Moses being forbidden from the promised land. Man, that sucks that Moses can't enter the promised land after all this, after all he's been through, after having to deal with these people. But I mean, the people that he's taking with him now are not the same people that he led out of Egypt, right? All of them died. So, yeah. Nobody. Aaron died. Miriam, I think, died as well. I don't remember. Well, Moses, he can't see the promised land, man. None of the OG group can see the promised land except for Caleb and Joshua. That sucks. All right. Well, that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll jump into Deuteronomy chapter 3. I hope you guys enjoyed today's Bible study with me live session, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Take care. Goodbye.